Enjoy the rest of the show. Tomo, floor is yours.
I mean, I know I took it off too early. It got hot. It's hot in here. I'm sorry, fellas. I'd have kept the ski mask going, but we gonna clip that up so y'all can keep the short going. I mean, you seen the short. I told y'all what Jerry was doing. And shout out to that one Eagles fan that was hating in the comments. I heard what you were saying. But if you don't know, now you know. George Pickens has been traded to the Dallas Cowboys. I would say it was early Tuesday, maybe Wednesday morning for me. I don't know. It was just the days are all running together at this point when you're in Cowboy Nation. But the Cowboys get wide receiver George Pickens for George Pickens and a 2027 6th-round pick, while the Steelers receive a 2026 3rd-round pick and a 2027 5th-round pick. And the question poses, what does this trade do for Dak Prescott?
That's on you, right?
I know. I'm trying to think because I'm trying to understand why we would ask, what does this mean for Dak Prescott? And I'll tell you exactly what it means. The expectations for Dak Prescott have been set high. Well, they were set high when you seen a young JD5 come into the NFC East and do his thing with a whole bunch of, some would say, castaway players or players who are trying to rename themselves. Terry McLaurin was trying to prove to the world that, hey, I can be a top 5 receiver in this league if you all just give me somebody to throw. Oh, am I talking about Terry or am I talking about George Pickens? I don't know. They sound like the same two people, but that's why I feel so good. But for me, what this trade means for Dak Prescott is there's really no more excuses. You got your second contract. You make $60 million. You're one of the highest paid quarterbacks who haven't been to an NFC championship game, but yet you've accomplished almost every other accolade outside of that and an MVP. But your name has been talked about being top 5, top 10. You get debates about what you can do, but when the playoffs come, everybody asks, is it Dak? Is it the team? You have everybody going back and forth about whose fault is it? Does he shrink up? Does he freeze? Does he have any weapons? Jerry's not doing anything for him, and Jerry and them make the call. They're a season too late, but they actually went all in and made a jump and got you a receiver. So now you have a 1A and some would say a 1B with George Pickens, who can now alleviate some of that double team for CD. So for me, what this trade means for Dak is it's time to answer. It's time to step up. It's time to show everybody that you're that veteran in the NFC East. And I'll wait to hear what you all got to say about it because I know you all got something good to say.
I'll go. I'm the the team that's been beating up on y'all lately as the last few years. But honestly, this is what the Cowboys asked for. Mm-hmm. They wanted another weapon for Dak Prescott outside of CeeDee Lamb, and they got it. So this is actually really good news for the Cowboys because we know what the talent that George Pickens does, and this is different from CeeDee Lamb because, from CeeDee, they hear a lot. They call him the slot guy. This is what you hear a lot about CeeDee Lamb. George Pickens is not a slot receiver. He's outside in the X. He's an X and wide receiver, point blank, period. He's out there on the outside majority of his snaps. So this is exactly what the Cowboys asked for. And I think this right here is going to improve their offense as far as passing, for sure. Now, there's going to be a narrative that you hear that whenever the Steelers give away a head case as a wide receiver, that it becomes an issue for other teams that they go to. Look at Antonio Brown. When he left and went to the Oakland Raiders, he didn't even play a game for them. He was there for just the preseason, and he didn't even play in the preseason. He got traded right before then. Now, he did go win a title with the Bucs in Tampa Bay because he had Tom Brady. But remember, he also was with Brady when he was with the Patriots, and he got kicked up out of there. So he was a head case for 2 of those. Martavius Bryant, he wasn't the same player once he left. Chase Claypool wasn't the same player when he left. There are a lot of guys that you can name that weren't the same player when they left, but there is one. And a lot of people forget this, but Plaxico Burress, and he wasn't necessarily a head case, but he had something that happened off the field that got him taken to the Giants. And what happened when he went to the Giants? He became a Super Bowl champion. So there is there are some cases that actually work out. And honestly, if you hear some of the stuff that George Pickens has been saying since he got traded, it doesn't sound like a guy who has, who's much of a head case. He actually sounds like a sound guy who's ready to make some changes to grow. So I think this trade is going to make some sense for the Cowboys. The only thing is, how is the run game going to look? Because you got two receivers who are going to want the ball. And we know what happens to the Cowboys when they're pass heavy. It's not a lot of success, honestly. The numbers may look good, but when it comes to winning, it's not necessarily what the Cowboys want as far as winning when it comes to them throwing the ball a lot. Because we all know Dak's record when they run the ball more, he wins a lot more than he loses. But when they throw the ball a lot more, they lose more than they win. So I think we just got to see exactly how the game plan goes. But I honestly believe this is a really good move getting George Pickens, because this is another receiver that you needed. You needed another weapon. The Cowboys have been asking for this since Amari Cooper has been gone, and you gave them the answer. He's another young receiver that can definitely do a lot of things on the outside as far as a receiver. So this is actually a really good move.
I like the move. I think it's good for Dak Prescott. I think it's good for the Cowboys. Like they said, this was the perfect move for y'all, because the NFL draft, everybody kept saying, oh, get a receiver. Y'all didn't get a receiver. Y'all addressed the offensive line. Y'all addressed the running back position and the other things. And then y'all went and get George Pickens, who is a complete, like they said, complete opposite receiver of CD Lamb, right? He's more of a deep ball threat, a straight line type receiver, when CD worked a lot of things in the middle. So it's perfect. And Jerry, he tends to do this. Like guys that have, I'm not gonna say George Pickens has on the field issues, right? So but Jerry tends to bring in guys who have off the field issues and give them a shot. He's done that before plenty of times. The last biggest contract he signed on free agency had off the field issues, all right? But that was a long time ago. But what it does for Dak Prescott, like Tomo said, it just eliminates the excuses. Like you got two last year. The excuse was he didn't have the receiving core. Although Brandon Cooks, everywhere he went, he was 1,000-yard receiver until he came in Dallas. So that's the case, right? But we still gotta look at that defense, though. The defense was a problem at times last year. I think I had a big injury last year. When your linebackers got hurt, he might not even play next year. Who was having a good season last year? So we gotta see how that defense is gonna look. Are they gonna still sign Michael Parsons? What's going on with that? So, but Dak Prescott, I think, I know we want to put the microscope on Dak Prescott. I feel like he was always in position to take the Cowboys to a different level, and he has to perform in the playoffs. But we'll see this year. Now, this year, there are two other teams in the division. Three, the Giants made some good moves this offseason. They got some quarterbacks. They had a great draft. A wonderful draft. They got two running backs in the draft that's going to help them run the game. So they got their linebacker, they got their future quarterbacks. So they made some good moves. So the NFC East, I was happy. Anybody that's in the chat, I was happy when they made this trade, because first thing I said, okay, Tomo, okay, Carter, okay, well. And then I said, I want to see the NFC East be super competitive. It will make our R2L community much better if it's like a dogfight to the end. So great move for the Cowboys, great move for Dax. But it's no more excuses. Never been excuses for real.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that. After your rookie season, ain't no more excuses. It's like you came in, you did all this winning with this team, and the weapons were there. Offensive line, running back, wide receiver. Then they got rid of Dez, and then it was like, all right, we're going to do wide receiver by committee. We find out we get Amari Cooper, and it's like, all right, here we go, giving you another weapon. You break statistical records. You do all of this. You become top. You in the conversation for top 10 quarterback in the league, but now it's time to get to the playoffs, and then you see that ugly stadium behind Dave, and you're like, I don't know how to play football no more. But outside of that, or when you get up to Green Bay in the playoffs, you just don't know. But Dave, you touched on something as far as the head cases, or not even head cases, just the wide receivers that left. It wasn't just Plaxico that left and got success neither. You got to think Emmanuel Sanders, Juju won a ring. Santonio done won a ring. So a lot of the wide receivers that leave the Steelers Nation don't just tank it. They may have some bad years after that, but even Antonio Brown won a ring. We know what happened after that, but I'm just saying, if you can come down here and give us one ring and then he want to go crazy, that's on you, bro. That's on you. I just want the one ring. I ain't mad at it. But if it go the other way, We'll talk to us. We'll get RBO Vaughn backstage, and he gonna tell us why I should be prepared for that part. But I'm happy with the move.
That's good.
All right. So, like I said, we got Vaughn backstage. He got the helmet right there. So we got to talk about the flip side of the trade because we're talking about why it's so good for the Cowboys and how it's going to work out. But we got to ask about the team that gave him away. This team is still looking for a quarterback. This team is still